I can't believe it. I read the second chapter of the JOJOLands and just found out that I was right about everything. Well, not quite everything. I did kind of joke about the feds in the last video perhaps being the main villain of the story, and what do you know? The DEA comes a-knockin'. I'm not saying that's the case, but if they do turn out to be the enemy of the story, well... Anyway, I should probably start things out from the beginning. Looking at the cover page, I think the term seedling used in reference to Jodio is going to be an intentional motif story-wise. We know from later on in the chapter that there's a chance that he has antisocial personality disorder, and has tons of antisocial traits. His mother didn't believe in the legitimacy of the diagnosis, but when Jodio reflects on it, he just questions if he can become happy, though he's pretty sure he can, saying that he'll work hard towards it. This explains his weird way of viewing the world that I mentioned in my chapter 1 review, and this is probably the driving force behind him wanting to become rich no matter what it takes, perhaps believing that somewhere along the way he'll find happiness. I can imagine that the overarching story of the JOJOLands will involve him going from an insular antisocial seedling into something grown, with him finding a way to master, or even overcome, his own nature. I mean, there's hope, right? He only checked off 18 of the 20 questions, meaning he's still got 2 to work with. Not to mention his stand looks like a plant and seems to use water, which is essential for the growth of seeds and plants. See? That's imagery right there. Personally, I don't know how much I buy the accuracy of the diagnosis. The fact that he didn't kill the police officers back in chapter 1, and also took the time out of his day to move them out of the road and onto the safety of the sidewalk, definitely makes me question things. The only people that benefited from that were the police, and he got nothing out of it in return. To me, it seems like he just unconsciously did a selfless action, even though in the long run, it probably would have been in his best interest to have left them on the street to be ran over. He even says here that he should have killed them, so as a psychopath, why didn't he leave them out on the road to potentially die? It would have been only beneficial to him, as he made sure to destroy any evidence that they interacted in the first place, so nothing would come back to bite him. At the end of the day, what happened there could have been made out to be a freak accident. In any case, we should look at the rest of the story here. Seems like Meryl May wants to keep new customers coming in so the market doesn't stagnate, so Jodio has to make the occasional deal with university students and such. Based on what the woman fronting as a university student said about a test needing to be done, it appears that this drug is in fact a performance-enhancing one. So I was probably right about it being cocaine. This part also explains the sudden burst of outrage that came from Jodio when his senpai, who we now know as Usagi, directly asked him about the stuff. It seems Jodio's MO is to make it seem like his customers are just repaying him, while Paco puts the drugs for them to find somewhere along the path Jodio sends them down. And somehow, even though he had this woman's whole plan figured out from the start, he falls for a speech about police officers being people of justice who cannot lie about their occupation when looking for evidence because, if they did so, the whole system would come falling down. So of course she lies and attempts to get him and Paco arrested, with the weird light on the bike that Jodio pointed out earlier containing exactly what he thought, a camera and a microphone. Apparently the DEA are after their boss, and the cops from the last chapter are back, and Mr. Handlebar Mustache is just as evil as ever, this time wanting to take advantage of Jodio alongside Dragona. Luckily, even though he's completely pinned down, his November Rain seems to be the type of stand that can manifest normally without it being bound in the same way, giving him the ability to destroy all the evidence and get the cops off their trail. Other than that, I already covered the psychopath diagnosis. The only part that I miss is what he had to say after he mentioned he'd work hard towards becoming happy. He says that it's a reality of this world that you run into folks like that in these hidden places and that they don't play fair. I think based on the context of the scene, the folks he refers to are people like the officers. The hidden places he refers to are where he does his business, and the part about them not playing fair is meant to allude to them being psychopaths themselves. Based on his own situation, it's only natural for him to get pissed off about things. From there we come to Hawaii Island where the heist takes place. This is where we learn Usagi's name and where they all take off from the car rental shop, though it seems Usagi scammed the team because he asked for $30 from each of them, but the rental was only $90. They get to the house and Jodio scouts things out. All signs point to the occupant getting ready to go out for a swim, and they decide to aim for the master bedroom to look for a safe. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the mention of an iPad, I remembered Araki for a second. I saw a video about his Gucci iPad case that he uses to take notebooks with him. For a second there I started to think, wait, did Araki write himself into the story? But it couldn't be him. The man doesn't keep an iPad in his Gucci iPad case. He's too precious for this world. Also, the whole Japanese folks are a peace-loving people thing was hilarious. I imagine this ironically foreshadows them getting their asses handed to them in the next chapter. Aside from that, I guess they wear masks to cover up their identities and use earphones along with codenames to communicate with each other on the radio. It seems everyone except Usagi has done this before, but I'm left questioning their expertise. I mean, they don't even bother putting the masks on before walking out and spotting a camera, and not to mention everyone there is wearing custom-made outfits, some even having their names plastered all over. Tell me then, what was the plan if he didn't come along? Masks aren't going to do much when your outfits can identify you from a mile away. The people that robbed my house could have been anyone. The people that robbed the house. In any case, they probably only wear the masks when they get in the line of sight of their victims, but still, like I said before, their outfits will still just give them away. At least for the camera problem, Usagi's stand, the Mate Kudasai, has the ability to deal with it. Apparently it transforms into something there that someone wants, but it needs to be verbally activated, and that's something that he is unable to do himself. Finally, the Jojolion stand meme is a reality. We were just one part too early to realize it. Anyway, the stand crawls up to the camera and transforms into one, providing a fake feed of video alongside the real one, making it impossible to use for evidence since there's no way to figure out which video is authentic. So they march into the place and Jodio spots the target swimming in the pool. He knows him from his books and anime. He's a famous mangaka, Kishibe Rohan. See, I definitely wasn't crazy for thinking it was Araki. No matter how much I loathe the Rohan is Araki self-insert meme, I saw the similarities. I just wasn't able to put 2 and 2 together. With that said, where does this leave us? I'll make a few predictions for the next chapter, then close out the video. Of course, I think Rohan is going to have Heaven's Door like before, and he's just going to wipe the floor with everyone there. He's probably going to end up reading their stories and find out all the interesting little details about them, and be gushing about the amount of material they'll provide him with. He's probably going to find out something weird about one of them that will change the course of the story. Maybe it's something to do with Jodio's psychopathy, or perhaps you'll find out that Paco is a rock human like I theorized in my last video. But like I said last time, predicting the things Araki's gonna write is an almost fruitless endeavor. But it'd be cool to get something right. I know for sure I didn't see anyone talking about Rohan returning. In any case, I'm looking forward to the next release of the JOJOLands. If you'd like to hear some crazy but still relevant theories and predictions, check out my video on Chapter 1. Make sure to be subscribed to the channel for more chapter reviews and other JoJo content like my previous videos. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and leave me a comment down below with your thoughts currently on the JOJOLands. Anyway, till next time, farewell.